Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. On today's show, Dwayne Taves is visiting with Brandon Deppenbush about the importance of disease traceability in feeder cattle. Next, Kyle Bauer visits with Dick Gehring with the National Bison Association. Then it's this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update, and we'll end with Plain Talk featuring Kyle and Dwayne. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Up first, Dwayne Taves and Brandon Deppenbush with Innovative Livestock Services discuss the new Cattle Trace pilot program and what it means to the feeder cattle sector.
Dwayne Taves joining you once again here on Ag AM in Kansas, and an opportunity to catch up with Brandon Deppenbush with ILS, Innovative Livestock Services. Brandon, tell us a little bit about the company, and we'll interesting to hear what the focus has been for you as a business.
Yep. Innovative Livestock Services is a group of feed yards that we operate in Kansas and Nebraska. The core of our business is feeding cattle. We also have a farming operation and several other operations that support our company. We've been in business for several years now, and we have a one-time capacity of 200,000 head. Our interest in being in cattle trace is from the standpoint of disease traceability. Disease traceability is important for all of us and for all the partner feed yards and companies that are part of what we're doing. A foot and mouth or foreign animal disease outbreak in our country would be absolutely devastating to all of our industries and all of our companies. So cattle trace will not prevent a foreign animal disease outbreak, but it'll allow us to quickly identify the problem and be able to isolate the problem and hopefully ultimately minimize the damage that would be done with such a outbreak should we ever have one.
We think about the Cattle Trace pilot program going on here in Kansas. A number of partners part of that from the state all the way down to private industry, which your company would be a part of. We haven't talked a lot about, ultimately it is a disease traceability program. Your company's been tracking animals and performance for a long time, and this, in effect, ultimately as an end goal, might provide some opportunities for producers in that manner as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The sole purpose of Cattle Trace is disease traceability, period. That is absolutely the goal of our program. But there is certainly an opportunity for producers, innovative producers, to come along and use the network or the platform of which we've developed or which will be developed through this process to use that to share information between segments to help us all to get better, share carcass data up and down the line, whatever the case may be, that we can create value chains for our consumers so they know exactly where their products come from. So absolutely, it's going to provide a platform and a network hopefully that we can add some value. Other people can add values down the line, but that is not the purpose of Cattle Trace. Cattle Trace is solely a disease traceability program.
We think about that in the feed yards that you work with directly, hundreds of trucks literally daily that come into your yards from across the country. It only seems to make logical sense that in trying to reduce the ramifications of an animal disease outbreak, were it to happen, that the feed yard is a part of that.
Yeah, the feed yards, nearly all animals, I would say, would come through a feed yard of some sort before they go to a packer and to be harvested. So yeah, absolutely being able to track those animals and being able to trace them back in a disease outbreak so we'd be able to know what animals are susceptible. I think the thing that makes the Cattle Trace program the most valuable, or project the most valuable, is should we have a disease outbreak here or at a sale barn, we'd be able to trace animals back to the sale barn and then back to a feed yard, and then we'll be able to keep our eyes on them and to be able to do some early detection on them, because speed is a key when we're dealing with the foreign animal disease. So what animals do we need to keep an extra eye on? That would be the benefit of a quick, traceable program.
Our thanks to Brandon Deppenbush with ILS joining us on Ag AM in Kansas, talking about Cattle Trace, a pilot program here in Kansas for animal disease traceability. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Dwayne. Folks, come back after these messages for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Hi, I'm Kim Mandarin with Hardy Insurance. I'm here to help you with all of your farm and ranch needs. When it comes to protecting your operation and your family, you need a name you can trust at a price you can afford. Call me today or visit hardyaviationins.com.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Janelle Stegall, a third-grade teacher from Olathe, Kansas, joins us. Janelle, you recently had the chance to be a part of the Kansas Soybean Summer Science Institute at Kansas State University. A very busy time during the month of June. What got you interested in participating in the Soybean Summer Science Institute?
Some other teachers from my school district had been involved in it before and had a great experience and learned a lot, and so I decided that I wanted to see what it was all about.
So during that time, what were some of the things that you learned?
We learned how to teach the national standards using the inquiry-based model and using the soybean as the main model of teaching.
It was also a chance to work with your peers who are a part of this year's program.
There were peers from all over the state of Kansas, from small town Kansas, from larger towns in Kansas, all different grade levels, and we got a chance to discuss and determine what would work best for all kids.
And a lot of the curriculum was focused on the use of the soybean seed.
So we wrote lessons that went in, of course, to the science classroom, but the soybean could also be used as part of your social studies and an economics lesson, as part of your reading, if you're going to read about the soybean, as part of your math, if you're going to be talking about yields and those sorts of things. So we discussed using the soybean not only in our science classrooms, but also in every other area of our teaching.
Are you excited for the upcoming school year to utilize some of the things you learned?
I am really excited. We are, in fact, getting together with some girls in the area who are going to get our lessons all ready to go to get started right away in September with the soybean and teach our science inquiry lessons then. So, yeah, we are really excited to get it going.
So if there's a teacher out there who would have interest in participating in future Soybean Summer Science Institute programs, why should they attend?
Not only will they learn how to teach in an inquiry-based way, but they will also meet a great group of people at K-State who will forever be wonderful resources for them, but also all of the amazing teachers we have throughout the state. I think that's one of the best things that's come out of it for me is that professional development group that I have right within our state that is just a wonderful group of people to go to and get answers and talk with about the great teaching that we're doing, that we learned how to do at the Institute.
That's Janelle Stegall, a third-grade teacher from Olathe, who participated in this year's Soybean Summer Science Institute, as she joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Stay with us after the break for more with Kyle Bauer and Dick Gehring with the National Bison Association.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways, of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at KFRM.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
What if sustainability were synonymous with U.S. soy? If energy efficiency, water quality, and soil health help define U.S. soy's value, that future is here, the time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is committing to sustainability that's achievable, worthwhile, and enduring. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
All over the country, more and more communities are making the change to biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil, and the decision continues improving the health and welfare for millions of Americans while adding billions to our national economy.
This segment brought to you by SureCrop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now we take a look at the bison industry on a national scale.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Dick Gehring with the National Bison Association. Dick, when we talk about farm commodities and farm products, right, you know, we fight demand, supply and demand, but when it comes to bison, really you have extremely strong demand for your product.
That's correct. Our supply is continually being outstripped by demand. We can't keep up. We're looking for new producers all the time. One of the great things about not being a commodity is we have our own price structure that continues to rise based solely on demand for the meat product.
So your biggest issue is really finding more producers.
That's correct. We need producers of all sizes, but we're right now really kind of focused on some commercial producers, maybe 100, 200 cow herds with some potential for expansion from there.
So when you talk about price discovery and setting price and me wanting to sell my production, tell us how that might work out in Kansas.
There's markets, private markets everywhere that are looking for the product. In the first Saturday in December is an annual sale that the Kansas Buffalo Association puts on. It's an open consignment sale that is open to anybody to bring animals to. Very few requirements to get there, and we'll probably run somewhere around 300-400 head this year, which is one of our lighter sales, and it speaks to the type of demand that's out there right now. We're having a little bit of a hard time getting enough. We'd like to see 600, 700, 800 head.
Well, and truly, a lot of your producers sell in other ways, but that sell kind of gives you an idea of what the going price is.
That is a very good venue, a very good market tool to figure out a production model, price discovery. Absolutely.
So if I'm considering this as a rancher, what sort of things do I need to keep in mind whether it's a fit for me or not?
A little bit of background in livestock production would be beneficial. It's not mandatory. Some cattle experience is always a good thing. Folks ask a lot of times what it's like, and I say it's exactly like raising cattle, only completely opposite. And you know, they ask a lot about the fencing and about what kind of facility I need, and it sounds like, you know, we really need to build it, you know, extremely stout and all that. And I always tell them, if you have to have it that stout and that strong and that high, you're doing it wrong, because it's all about handling the animal and how you do it. And
truly, they are a grazing animal. Most of them spend their entire life on a grass diet.
There's a lot of market out there that is for grass-fed only. They are a great ungulate. They a fantastic job of utilizing grass species and different forbs and sedges, and they're able to convert that much better than cattle over the entire year. They graze year-round, and there's also another market segment out there that does a little bit of feed finishing on the end, but most of their life is spent out there grazing.
We're visiting with Dick Gehring. He's with the National Bison Association. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Come back after the break for this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update.
I had this horse. It was a good horse, except when the wind was blowing above 30 miles an hour. Wind was blowing about 35, 40, and I saddled him up, rode him out to the end of the lane, and I thought, well, he's doing pretty good. And About 6 jumps later, I was laying on the ground and thinking, boy, my shoulder sure hurt. I kept waiting and it didn't get better. And so I went to an orthopedic surgeon and that showed that I had torn rotator cuff. And said, well, I have to do surgery. I farm and ranch by myself. It's not going to work out very well. I'd been sleeping in my recliner for about 2.5 years because it hurt too much to sleep in bed on my side. I'd heard about Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center on the radio. Gotten down there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and by 11:30 the procedure was all over. They just took some fat out of my side here and spun that down for about 45 minutes and then injected it in my shoulders, and I was on my way. It's something you don't hear about, but I thought it was worth a try, and I'm really pleased. It's really worked out well for me.
Fort Wallace was the fightingest fort in the West. Fossils, Indians, soldiers, scouts, wagons, trails, pioneers, stories. Discover the story of Fort Wallace and the people who served here, the people who fought here, the people who settled here. Wallace County, where the past is present.
The new Better Horses Network is worldwide. Presented by Lucas Oil. Featuring worldwide radio and TV with iconic hosts like Al Dunning, Sharon Camarillo, Ernie Rodina, Lindy Birch, and Craig Cameron. With American Cowboy, Horse and Rider, Brushy Creek, Cavenders, and Ride TV. Worldwide radio and TV. The all-new Better Horses Network.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Heinen Brothers, a fourth-generation Northeast Kansas farm family, knows how tough farming can be. Farmers helping farmers. Heinen Brothers Ag, selling and servicing crop protection products, fertilizer, anhydrous ammonia, cover crops, quality aerial and ground application. Call today to learn about our extended term financing program. 800-760-4964. HeinenBrothersAg.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Farm Bureau Update.
The Agriculture Department's June acreage report updates planted acreage estimates from the March planting intentions report. American Farm Bureau economist Michael Neveu says the June report's one of the most widely anticipated reports of the year.
Many times it results in big historical swings in futures markets, and this report shows U.S. growers planted 322 million acres of principal crops. That's the highest level since 2014 and up nearly 3% from last year.
Much of the planted acreage includes soybeans, which are at historic levels, says Neveu.
For soybeans, the June planted acreage estimate fell just short of analyst expectations, but it was up nearly 500,000 acres from the March report. For corn, USDA pegged over 500,000 acres more than analysts were projecting, and that's over 1 million acres larger than what they had projected in March.
Neveu says that while soybeans are in the number one spot for the first time since 1983, farmers are planting fewer total acres of corn and soybeans this year.
For the first time in a very long time, farmers in the U.S. planted more soybean acres than they did corn acres. So that is absolutely a big deal up in the corn belt. Another key takeaway is that even though this year producers increased their total acreage, they're actually planting fewer corn and soybean acres in 2018. Instead, they're diversifying into other crops such as spring wheat, hay, cotton, and sorghum.
Neveu says reports like the June acreage report help those in the agriculture industry with decision-making and business planning. Chad Smith, Washington.
Stay with us. We'll be back after the break with Plain Talk.
SureCrop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, and we're glad to answer it and work with you.
I'm Sarah, and this is my husband, Travis. We both grew up working on family ranches, me in Northern California and Travis in Kansas. We met in college, got married, and took corporate jobs in the beef industry. But soon we realized we missed the production side of the industry. So we made the daring move to start our own cattle business in southeast Kansas, while also starting our family. Watch our story and the stories of other young Kansas food producers at kansaslivingmagazine.com/meetafarmer.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle and Dwayne are up to on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk with Dwayne Taves.
Kyle Bauer, your fact or fiction question of the day. Birds have 4 toes per foot. The difference between parrots and other birds is that parrots have 2 toes in the front of each foot, 2 behind each foot. Most other birds have 3 in the front and 1 behind. Fact or fiction?
Now, this isn't fair because you are the resident poultry person on staff.
Resident poultry, not aficionado, just maybe no more than the rest.
Well, you've seen certainly more than I have. They basically they're able to grab onto limbs and things because of those feet.
And they don't fall off the limb when they sleep because when they bend their elbows, it latches
down on
latches
there.
the feet tight shut.
So it's basically saying parrots are the only ones in the world that have 4.
They all got 4. It's just parrots have 2 in the front, 2 in the back.
I'm going to go with fiction.
It's true.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
all other ones have
toe
3
arrangements allow it to use toes like 2 sets of opposable thumbs.
So they can grab onto things easier.
Yeah, that'd be why they can open the old gate on the cage and take a hiatus.
Is that right?
It's possible, yeah. That and the fact they use their beaks quite a bit.
Have you ever been around horses that are pretty good at opening gates?
No.
I
knew a fence builder like that once.
Well, I've seen things on the internet about horses that will,
sure,
learn to open the gate. Not because they're trying to teach them to do that.
No.
Because the horse knows that the feed's out there and he's going to
feed's on the other side.
Right, exactly right. Well, LT, you've been around my horse quite a lot, and he is a strong-willed horse.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
it
matches its owner, maybe.
Yeah,
well,
that's
talk
what
about your dog matching. You looks like the owner.
Well, my kids always say, the horse acts like he's on crack, and the guy riding him acts like he's on crack. So it's
did too.
Okay.
So what's LT up to?
Well, he will push gates open, and he'll test every one of them.
I'll just lean on him.
He just bumps them with his chest. He bumps them with his chest, and he'll check every gate to make sure it's latched, because if it's not, they'll just
coming
push
open
it open.
and away you go.
And none of my other horses do that. If the gate is closed,
well, leave it well enough alone.
Well enough alone. But LT,
Sure.
he will try every gate. He just bumps them. And so my point is if I have a portable corral set up and I just pull the gate shut, works fine for all the other horses.
Except
LT. He will walk up, bump it. Now, he may walk out and walk back in.
Just because he can.
Because he can. He just wants to see. It's like,
is this really shut
or not?
And it's not like, is he wanting to keep me in?
Yeah, and the thing is he's not really even wanting to be out.
Yeah,
he's just a habit, I guess he learned over the years or something. I don't know.
It's hard telling. For a horse though, there are very few things in life that kind of humor them or hold their interest.
You're saying he does it for entertainment?
I think so.
I suspect you're right.
Everything else he's got to do is walk around and eat grass.
Right.
Nothing terribly exciting about that.
So his hobby in life is opening gates.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.